I was trying to come, if I can come fifth, maybe fourth, and hopefully get a good time and be happy. But the gun went, and I just got out and I was running, and I'm waiting for them to come past me. And I'm thinking, queer, I'm ahead. And at that point, I thought, why am I doubting myself? And at that point, literally a split second, I just thought, just go for it. And I ran, won the gold medal in 7.2. I don't think the viewers know how old we are.
You know what? Still, yeah. Just want to put it out there, guys. I'm the baby in the room. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And for once, anyway. So yeah, just letting you guys know, I am 46 years old. My name is Roger Moore. Then I'm gonna go with the next one up, which is Joe. Joe, how old are you now, bro?
Yeah, I turned 52 in October.
Jeez.
Affinity Xtra, be extra.
Yeah, people, this is your boy here, Roger Moore, alongside Donald Brown and Joe Appiah. Now, not the famous Appiah who played in the World Cup. Yes, Joe Appiah who runs for the UK, or Great Britain as better known as. Now, this is a special show, guys, because these guys are absolutely inspirational for me. 100%. I'm just pitch this out to everybody. I'm 46 years old. One thing what I notice within a community is always a case of going, Roger, are you still playing football? That's all I hear. Are you still playing football? You're too old to play football. But I revealed this secret. There's somebody who I followed on Facebook. Now, I probably have a no name. Why did this light skin guy that's probably followed him, and usual thing where he said, yeah, be my friend. And he didn't realize. I was like this, isn't that guy from back in the day? And he's got this cover image. And he's got him running. And then I spoke to my friend Louis Williams, and he's like, yeah, man, he does a bit of running still. You know what I'm saying? I said, he's running serious, because I'm sure he said he's winning titles still. And he's a few years on top of me. So that was inspiration for me that I could actually keep up playing football, and I still play football to this day in open ages. Now, what was amazing for me is not only they keep up running, both of these guys run for GB. Now I have to get it right now. It's Team GB when it comes to athletics and so on like that. Still, yeah, it's not England when it comes to that, like we have in football anyway. Still, yeah, but it's Team GB, and I want to really look into this because when it came to athletics for me, I want to be educated here because for me, it's a sport that when you get 16, unless you're number one in the country, you just go and play another sport and whatsoever. So we want to get an idea of these guys' journey when it came to athletics, and how do you keep within this infrastructure into your 40s? Because my son is into athletics now. He does triple jump. So He does triple jump for his for Birchwood, and he's for university. So it's interesting that I can still inspire him with this kind of video, but he will carry on with his athletics from that time going on forward. So let me start off with you, Donald, because you're a few years ahead of Joe. So how was it for you? How did you get into it? When did it all start for you? Because as far as I know, that I just saw it came out of the blue about 8, 9, 10 years ago that you was doing GB running athletics. So just hit us up. How did it all start for you? Where did it all start? Where was your love for athletics, man? And then we hit out with Joe, man, and you just tag in this. Where it all started for you?
Well, first of all, Roger, thanks for having both Joe and Anna on the show. For me, athletics began. Oddly enough, I've always loved sport, but sadly, I was born with asthma and bronchitis, and so I could never really do sport. And so most of my childhood, I was sat on the wall just watching and not being able to compete. And when I did run, I was fast, but then I'd have an asthma attack.
Wow.
And so my self-esteem and my confidence was, pretty low. But by the age of about, I think, 16, 17, I was becoming stronger in terms of being able to run a bit and survive. And I gave triple jump a shot. And my Mr. Richard Witter at school spotted me and sent me to Wolverhampton Bilston, which is the home of the Denise Lewis, Olympian. And I got invited to compete in Yugoslavia for Great Britain at that young age. But my mum said no. That devastated me.
Yeah.
And I hadn't conceived not, pursuing track and field and at some point trying to make it. Long story short, my bubble burst at that young age because I realized it was pointless training hard because mum's not going to allow me to compete. And it was one of those moments where the letter came through from Wolverhampton Bilston and it was like, 80,000 seat stadium, little me from Wolverhampton was like, crikey, great, mate, I'm going to have a chance to be famous. Never happened. So, long story short, I ended up just doing the odd whatever event was required at club events. So I ended up doing, if it was a long jump or the high jump or the pole vault or the 1500 meters, and that was just to get points. And so I did that for a while and I guess got a general understanding of a variety of different events. And then that's pretty much it. I didn't really pursue it. I then focused on my other passion, which is art as a sculptor. Went to America for 2 weeks, stayed there for 10 years, became, I would say, successful and well-known doing the circuit with celebrities and so forth. But it was whilst I was over there, a friend of mine, I was playing volleyball at the time, and I became quite good at the advanced level playing volleyball. And one of my team players said to me, she used to do athletics. I said, oh, I used to do athletics. I used to do triple jump. Oh, I used to do triple jump. And so it was great just to reconnect with somebody along those lines. And then I heard there was the USA National Heptathlon Championships in 2 weeks' time. And I just thought, well, what the heck, give it a shot. And I entered. I won the gold medal for the USA. And I thought, oh, that felt good. And then 2 weeks later was the Pentathlon Championships. So I entered that, won the gold medal there. And I thought, Koya, what time? Let me see. And then sort of the feeling of the taste came back for athletics. And I eventually came back to England. And because in my previous years I'd bounced around from event to event, I thought, well, let me give the decathlon a try. So I entered the National Decathlon Championships and won the gold medal in that, I think 2 years in a row. And one of my good friends, Joe Appiah will know very well, Dalton Powell. Dalton Powell was one of our elite sprinters. And Dalton came to me and said, Donald, you know, the times that you're running in this 100 meters for the decathlon, that's not far off what, we, the elite athletes, are doing. So I thought, well, let me give it a shot, and we went to, Joe, was it Clermont-Ferrand? I'm trying to think where it was. It was an international event.
Was it an indoor event? If it was an indoor event?
Yeah.
France, at Clermont.
It was probably Clermont, France, I think it was.
2008. Oh, no. Yeah, 2008.
That sounds about right. And so I thought, well, let me do the pentathlon. I did the pentathlon, and I won the bronze medal in that. But I'd also entered the 60 meters, and I got through the various rounds, and both Dalton Powell and I made it through to the finals. And the gun went, and we went up, and I gave it hell for leather. And the time was 7.4 something, and I was 1/100th of a second behind Dalton. So he won gold, I won silver. We were both on cloud nine. I thought, why would I train 10 events for one medal, when I can train and just get one event for one medal? So I switched from the multi-event, with a blessing on the body, and focused on the hurdles and the sprints, and then began to sort of make inroads on those events. And long story.
How old were you then, Dalton? Donald, how old were you and Dalton at the time?
I was 47 when, hold on. No, I was 40. I think I was 46 when I became the European silver medalist. But then when I became 47, I won the gold in, I've got to tell you this story. The national championships, I won the national championship in a personal best of 7.42. My personal best was 7.42, and I won it in 7.4. Then I went on to the European Championships, but there were 3 athletes on paper that had faster time. They were in 7.3s. And I got through the various rounds, and I was 47 years now, just a few years off turning 50. And I got through to the final. and they put me on the outside because the faster athletes were on the inside. And this is a great lesson. And Joe Appiah has always encouraged me in terms of believing in yourself and being confident. And Leon Braithwaite, my coach, and Joseph Keynes is my longtime coach, phenomenal individual. They really sort of stayed in my mind. The gun went, and I knew I was trying to come, if I can come fifth, maybe fourth, and hopefully get a good time and be happy. But the gun went, and I just got out and I was running, and I'm waiting for them to come past me. And I'm thinking, queer, I'm ahead. And at that point, I thought, why am I doubting myself? And at that point, literally a split second, I just thought, just go for it. And I ran, won the gold medal in 7.2. I didn't even touch 7.3.
You jumped.
Whoa. I lost it because that was like, I mean, that's at that age, at any age, I guess. But for me, that was a very key point in just transitioning and consolidating and solidifying my. And what was interesting, my time was faster than the younger age groups. And Joe Appiah mentioned at the beginning about the age. Let me just clarify.
Yeah.
When you turn 35, that's when you qualify to become a masters athlete.
Okay,
so
I'll qualify.
you compete in year groups of 5. So you're 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. That's your age group. Then you transit, you graduate, I like to say, to the next age, which is 40.
Okay.
So you're competing with 40, 41, 42, 43, 44.
Yeah.
And so you're graduating in groups of 5 in 5 years, which is great because you see the difference. If you're 55, you see the difference between someone who's 45. I'm forever trying to beat Joe. Joe's I don't know how this guy gets out of the block it's like a bullet. And I've always tried to chase him and I've never catch him, but you can see the difference in terms of the 5-year age group.
Yeah.
And so, yes.
But what happened, Donald, what happened was that it used to be 40 for men. And then the women used to be 35.
Right.
Oh.
And then they realized that they were losing so many men
35
between that gap.
Yeah.
That gap here. So they decided to bring it in line with the women. And because it's that time when people decide whether they want to continue or not.
Right.
You know, that's the time that, you know, you're not as good as maybe everybody else, but you're if you looked after yourself, you're also good enough. But then how then can you maintain that and keep in the sport and still be competitive? And I think we were losing so much between that 5-year gap. And then once they changed it, now you've got so many people, even some ex-professionals, that have transitioned into the masters.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe in America, it started 30.
That's correct. What? Yeah, to prepare them for the proper masters. The American starts at 30. But what also, I come back to one of the first things that you said was that your mum did not support you initially. That is something that is normal in our culture when we were growing up. I mean, I've never had my mum ever come to watch me because I used to play semi-professional football. Watch me play football ever. She's never asked me. She's even never even when I was doing athletics, she knew I was good, but she never asked me to come and watch. You know, for me, I think culturally, it's important that our parents support us to do that, because what they do is they focus so much on education, but education and sport and exercise needs to merge together, because the confidence that you get from sport, you can transfer 100%. Into your education. Exactly. For me, you know, my exam results were not great because I was brought up in Africa and I came here and straight away within a couple of years I was doing exams. So for me, the confidence that I gained when somebody believed in me that I can do something else apart from, just exam results was so great up to now. When I look back as to the confidence that it gave me and the skill sets that I gained from doing sport.
Come on.
Yeah.
Led me to be the person that I am in my working environment and in the way I engage with people.
No, 100. But I want to clarify something as well. That is an excellent, super point. But something that Donald, you mentioned, and you never really clarified too stuff. You went to the US now. Now I'm thinking, was this in you did that kind of like got involved with athletics in the US? Was that when you in your 30s or your 40s? Was that?
I got back into athletics when I was 42.
So that's crazy to me. So how did you maintain your body from somebody who for over a 20-year period? Because you said you play a bit of volleyball. I used to do volleyball up to the age of about 17, 18. But over here, volleyball doesn't even work over here. But how did you keep active? How did you keep in shape to be able to just walk into athletics? Was you a gym buddy, or was you that gym guy, or what was he doing? Because no way can you just do sculpturing and just turn up and go, we just run this, man. You know what I mean? Just have Saturday soup and done. It can't work.
I never really made a conscious effort to stay in sports. I made a conscious effort to make sure I never put weight on. I never want to get fat. Sorry, if I get a little bit of a belly, which I've got a bit one now, I make a concerted effort. I'm not as disciplined as Joe. We traveled all over the world together, and we've even roomed together. This guy gets up at like 5 a.m. He's stretching. He's doing sit-up. He's doing this. That's discipline. I've never really been quite like that, and I'm sure he'll share his story with you shortly. Yeah. But for me, it was a case of just dabbling in. Sometimes it was a bit of basketball, mainly volleyball, but that's pretty much it. And I think sometimes, when your body is rested for a week period of time, providing you're looking after it, and that's why I say to adults now, no matter what your age is, do something. Even if it's not competition, even speed walking, do something as well. But before Joe, and I really want Joe to sort of share with us his successes. My big year was just before the pandemic, which was up to 2019. And we were in, it was 2 events, the World Championships and the European Championships. And so I've not trained for about 2 years because I've had an MRI on my knees. So I'm resting my knees right now. But I pretty much, if I'm going out, I went out at the top, if I can say that, becoming the world champion in 2019 and the triple European champion in the 100 meters, 200 meters and the hurdles. And setting the kind of records for this guy who's come along and he's kicking them all. He's kicking these records to oblivion. But it's brilliant. Hopefully, those who have gone on before, they've definitely been inspirations to me. And I'm hoping that can be an inspiration to those that they're not so young, the less younger ones coming up like the Joes of this world. And again, Joe is a phenomenal inspiration, not just to me, but to so many. And not just because of his athletics, but he'll share with you some of the struggles he's gone health-wise.
Yeah, 100%. And we got a podcast that's coming out on the station as well about Joe. Okay. So and his journey, but definitely and it's crazy, before we go into Joe highlighted about our parents backing, and something that we have to challenge ourselves within our community, whether we're from the African or Afro-Caribbean side. It seems to be a struggle for our kids. And I'll be honest with you guys. When I look at sports, the successful youths that are of color are usually dual heritage children who seem to have the parents' support. I don't know if it's because they don't go to church on a Sunday. I don't know if that. But anyway, apart from that part, I don't. But they got their options there. But when I was looking at kids in my son's year, I was going, hold on a second. What is going on here? You know what I'm saying? And it seemed to... I'm not saying there's no parents. I'm not saying black parents, we don't want the best for our children. We're not saying that. Our parents want the best for us 100%. But I feel that when I talk to young black football, young black kids coming out of football, the biggest thing that they say is that my mom never came to watch me play football. And I'm not talking about our age group. I'm not talking about in the 40s. I'm talking about guys who are 16 and 17, 18, coming out of the academies. And I see the key difference of the guys that are successful is the guys where the parents were continually driving them all over the place, bringing them everywhere and whatsoever. And they have the extra quick. All the guys who could have been, could have been, are the parents that never come out to support them. So it's a really interesting dynamic. I don't know if it's a case of my dad never supported sports straight. You know what I mean? In your books, that's what it was. Full stop.
And just to add onto that and what Joe said earlier, I think if we look at it from a cultural perspective, many of our parents, they came from difficult, hard lives. Mm-hmm. They came here and they worked sometimes 2-3 jobs. Mm-hmm. probably working, low income and just struggling.
Yeah, 100%.
And so for them, what made logical sense was the more qualifications you had, the better job you had, the more money you could make, the better lifestyle you could have. Sport didn't necessarily transcend or give that particular message.
Come on.
And so for their children pursuing that, in their minds, they couldn't see, well, what's that going to lead to? So I understand it. It was tough to go through it. But culturally, I understand where they were coming from, because ultimately our parents wanted the best for us
100%.
as they saw it through their eyes.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But what's happened now is I've seen more and more parents from our backgrounds supporting the youngsters. I've seen it. And I just look and smile, because I can see the benefits of sport in this kid's future.
Yeah, man.
Well, I mean, you're talking about the transferable skills, but also the health benefits.
Come on.
And then, of course, if they already started it at that age, the likelihood they will carry on at the age that me and Donald are. Just think about the overall benefits mentally too. If you look at you're talking about communication skills, you're talking about teamwork, you're talking about organizational skills, you're talking about timing, you're talking about
disciplines,
taking information from coaches, be listening skills. There is so many skill sets that they can gain from sport. Not just about, firstly, also the mental side. Sport is so mental, and that can help you through a lot of journeys in your life. And so when I see that, I'm so happy that the new generation of parents are giving that to the youngsters, and I hope that more and more of them do so, because it mirrors it. That and education should be combined together.
100%.
I don't think the viewers know how old we are.
You know what? Still, just want to put it out there, guys. I'm the baby in the room. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And for once, anyway. So just letting you guys know, I am 46 years old. My name is Roger Moore. Then I'm gonna go with the next one up, which is Joe. Joe, how old are you now, bro?
Yeah, I turned 52 in October.
Jeez, man, looking fresh,
Yeah, I turned 52 in October. And from my story is, I wasn't really an athlete because I didn't know anything about athletics because I was brought up in Africa, in Ghana. And so when I came to the UK, all I knew and I could do was football. So I played semi-professional football for a while. And then when I entered into into work, somebody says, "Oh, you play football for our department, don't you?" I said, "Yeah." So you're quite fast. We got sports day coming up. Do you want to help us with a relay? So this was I was around early mid 20s.
Okay.
And I said, "Oh, okay." And I did a relay. And I did okay. The next year, sports day, I decided to enter some of the individual events, including 100 meters, and I came third. I was thinking, oh. And then I joined a club around 92, 93, 94, when I was about 23, 24.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then really, I didn't stop playing football. I just mixed the two. And then I was going to run for my club. And I was running like 11.2 seconds. I didn't really train for it. I just trained as a semi-pro footballer, and I'll turn up on my club on a Saturday and run 11.2, with no proper background.
Wow.
So for me, I didn't know anything about athletics. I knew about the Olympics, but I didn't know how to get involved in it. I didn't know whether I was good or anything. And then slowly I started to do more for my club, I did the long jump, and then they started to train me on the hurdles. And then I realized I can actually also do high jump. So like Donald, I can do most of the events, and I did a bit of decathlon myself. I did some pentathlon as well. And then I decided at 29, and I was getting too busy at work, and I wanted to stop playing semi-professional football and then concentrate on athletics. So when I started to do that, I tended to get better as I got older. So, because a lot of technical events like the long jump and the hurdles, it takes a while to actually get it. It takes a while to master the technique. It takes a while for the body to be stronger enough to be able to do it properly. So as I was getting older, I was getting better, and I was getting my PBs, personal best. When I was 33, I jumped 704 in the long jump, and I got my hurdles PB when I was 36. And again, I got a jump over 7 meters when I was 36 in the long jump.
Crazy.
So I'm not sure who told me about the master, and then I discovered the master. I said, well, this is even better, brilliant. And then I discovered the master, and I said, okay, that, because I'm still relatively fresh in the sport, so I haven't really sort of like knackered on my knees or in my back, and because I haven't been in the sport for that long, I'm still relatively fresh. So I still had a hunger for it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I get it.
I had a hunger for it, and then because I never went through the age groups either, and this was an opportunity for me to achieve something for myself. So I decided to train as much as I can to see whether I can improve and get better. And like Donald said, it's like fine wine, get better with age. And I seems to be a bit more disciplined. I seems to be a bit more technically minded. I did a lot more research. I worked a bit more with various coaches to just get their inside knowledge. And also I use people around me that's been in the masters to see what are they doing that is getting them to those positions to win medals. And I've taken inspiration from people like Donald, who's been there before me, and we have discussions all the time. We even share rooms, and I take inspiration from those that went before me, and I'm always looking to learn to improve. So the Masters has given me another leaf of life.
No, absolutely excellent. And the thing is, Donald, just a quick one as well. Your age, you've gone past 55 now, innit?
Yeah, I'm years old. So
you can say 50 plus, blah blah blah.
I'm proud of my age. My next birthday, I'll be 60.
Okay, wow, yo, and you know what, guys? You know what's crazy? And I'm excited about this. I'm excited. You guys probably don't realize, man. I'm so excited because it's like the pressure on me to give up sport it's unreal. You know what I mean? It's almost a case of and this is from a culture and church perspective. It's almost a case of why are you coming back and doing this again? I just come from the gym. I had a bit of a slight injury, and I was going with my trainer, just working back the one of the muscles and so on like that. And it's like, but you guys inspire me to go, okay, forget that. I'm not retiring anywhere soon. I ain't got dodgy knees. I haven't done the extensive sports like, as under 16s and when you do the academy and a lot of Xtra pitches and stuff. I haven't done that. So my body's still in good nick. I've still got a lot of miles in my body. So I can really definitely put it in. But it shows you the incredible raw talent that you have in ourselves as people, as a physicality of our people. It's like, and the way you guys do look good, but man, you guys looking fresh and sharp. I'm not saying I don't look. I'm looking kind of all right for myself. You know what I mean? But like, it keeps you young looking. A lot of people says, what's the secret to yourself? Stay active. Just let me start from there. And I have to reiterate this. And this is not a health thing. well, it is going to be a health thing. We're talking about sports, but the byproduct, you said a number of things, and I have to reiterate this. Health, your body, health is wealth, 100%. And we used to a Christian culture of praying ourselves into health, you know what I'm saying? But pray over action as well. That's the part we forget, you know what I'm saying? We want to pray our health, but we have to do the action part.
I think Joe said something very important as well, into surrounding yourselves with people that will inspire and empower you. And that is key. I've got to really give a shout out to a gentleman that is the epitome of that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's probably in his 70s now, Joseph Keynes. You know Joseph Keynes? He's the father of Daniel Keynes. He has been like the father of so many athletes in terms of his inspiration. And when you have individuals like that in your life, Joseph Keynes himself is a world champion masters athlete, I think, when he was in his 60s. But when you see it being done, like you said just a while ago, Roger, that you're inspired by myself and Joe, but we're also inspired by those who have gone on before. And there's a saying that goes, a tree without roots is dead. And if you can stand on your own without standing on the shoulders of others, it's pointless. It's not true. And so if Joe and I can in some way inspire other people present in future generations, that's a great way of giving back. And again, just to wrap up your point about in terms of the element of giving back and health and wellness, it is a health and wellness lifestyle. And I need people, Joe and I will tell you till we're blue in the face, it's not about competition. If competition appeals to you, great, do it. But just because people say probably say to Joe and to me, you're running around the track, but you're going nowhere. But health-wise, we are. So for me, it's a lifestyle choice. It's about, as Joe said, it's about your health and wellness. And the icing on the cake is the camaraderie I have between the brotherhood and the sisterhood within the fraternity, if you will, of masters athletes. Internationally, wow. Joe and I will travel wherever we travel, and we know them all over the world within the masters fraternity. Yeah. And that is also empowering, and that's very inspirational as well. So a key message from Joe and I is treat sport as a vehicle for maintaining and procuring and internalizing your health and wellness. It's a great way to detoxify and purify your mind and de-stress yourself as well.
Well, on top of that, Donald, sport have a great way to connect people. Sport, a lot of the time, when we travel around the world, we meet so many different people, so many different cultures, and you make so many friends and also connections. Sports got this ability to bring people together. So for the youngsters out there, and for the people that are older, closer to our age group, there's that benefit too. And then on top of that, you don't just do exercise or just to win. You can just do it for yourself. You can do it for yourself to be able to have a good mindset, a good health, and also something that it takes you away from doing other things that basically, for example, if you are doing sport, or if the kids are out doing sport, it means they're not doing something bad outside. Yeah, for me, that's how when I see the parents out there taking their kids to, some sporting event or blah blah. I say, well, yeah, it's great because your kids are not out there hanging around in the street doing something else. And also for the adults, they're not sitting at home watching TV, eating the biscuits, eating the cakes, eating the chocolates. Sports have this ability that if you're disciplined enough, it stops you doing all of those things that potentially could harm you.
No, it's so powerful. But you know what's interesting about you guys, yeah? You both started off in team sports. So you mentioned, I know there's a bit of basketball and volleyball in Donald, yeah? And I know yourself, 100% like myself, football all day long. That may be the reason why, you know, Ghana may not be too good at athletics anyway, you know, but we want to talk about the athletics team out here still, you know what I mean, and Nigeria. Always wonder why West Africa was struggling in the whole West, you know, when it comes to that. Always just as the Jamaicans are just slightly superior, but we won't go into that battle. We leave that battle on the side there still. Yeah,
all right. Look, if you're talking about that, man, let's talk about jollof rice right now, yeah? I think we're going to win that argument. We can't win any other argument.
All right, then. As my mom said, it's called orange rice, yeah? But anyway, we're not going to get in that trouble anyway. But
jollof rice or rice and peas. I think I just saw something recently on social media that, you know, someone was out interviewing people on the streets, and I think jollof rice won.
Mate, we won't talk about plantain either. But anyway, still, yeah.
Plantain or plantain?
Plantain out here. But guys, how did you guys transfer? Now, my problem is football. In football, I'm a team sport guy. Yeah, I was scared to get into gym work because of the fact that basically I needed to be around people in that team sport effort. You know, I'm in that team. So you guys both transitioned from to I would call a loner sport. Yeah, where you are on your track by yourself. And you affect you, everything you do is you. You know what I'm saying? Where I come from a sport where you could be the best player, i.e. Mbappe, and you can still score a hat-trick and lose in that game. You know, you're not on a solo. How did you guys transition from team sports into athletics, which is more of a solo sport to me?
Donald, do you want to take that first?
Sure. Interestingly enough, Roger, it was the other way around for me. I didn't actually transition from team sports into a solo sport because of, again, my childhood being, as I said, very sick and not being able to do much. My really first taste of sport was when I could run on the school ground and I'd, you know, come first or second. I'd be one of the fastest ones. So my first taste was that. It wasn't until my good buddy, Mr. Clive Palmer, and he was the basketball. We have this ongoing thing. He was great. He's great at basketball. And he got me to join the team in Bushbury. And it was really fun because Clive was always the one in the newspapers. Clive Palmer scores this amount. Clive Palmer does this. Clive, you're not getting a mention. You're not getting, kiss me like mention. But he was the one that was really into sports. What I could do, I could jump, I could dunk, I could do all of that. And I could feed the ball. But it was more of a joy playing with Clive that got me into basketball. But I knew my passion was always track and field. Linford Christie was definitely is one of sort of the heroes growing up and watching him. And I guess I lived to a point vicariously through him. So I didn't, to answer your question, I never really transitioned. If anything, I probably did them both at the same time and just veered off.
Okay, cool.
I mean, for me, it was a bit of a challenge for me because athletics is all about you. You got to put in the shift. You got to put in the work. Whereas in football, you can hide. if your team is good and you're having an off day, you can hide. There's no hiding place in athletics. So that was a challenge for me when I transitioned from football to athletics. But you talk about athletics being an individual sport. It is an individual sport once you're going to compete. But it's a teamwork before that because you got your coaches. You got your coaches, you got your physio, you got your family, you got your support network. It's actually a team that gets you to the stage to be able to perform. It's as an athlete, I consider myself as a performer. So I've done all the work, I've done all the rehearsals. When I get onto the competition stage, I'm ready to perform. But that's when I've done all the work with the team. So that's how I see it. But it was difficult because in football, obviously you are a team. But then in athletics, it's an individual sport, but you have a team around you.
No, 100%. Because my son, I took him down to, I was able to take him down to his meet. And one thing, you talk about personal skills. And I sat there and I went to athletics meeting. Now I'm expecting, I'll be honest with you, I'm from Birmingham, you know what I mean, where there's quite a few brown people. So I'm going to athletics thinking I'm going to see loads of brown people all over the place. Yeah, like come like it's Olympics and, you know, like it's Jamaica versus USA versus Great Britain, yeah? Them good old battles. And I went there and it was totally different. Yeah, it was literally definitely a middle-class sport, which was quite a shock for me. Because, you know, I'm thinking, hold on a second. You know, to run track, you don't need that much investment, you know, in whatsoever. But what was interesting, I was looking at all these there would be teenagers going into their 20s. They were all doing a university meet. And I was look at them now, the focus, the mentality. I said to my son, you're going to do 3 jumps. We driven 300 miles for you to do 3 jumps. And you got to take that pressure just to get an extra few jumps to get into the final. Yo, that's deep to me. Like, you go in to play football and you got 90 minutes to sweat that thing, to sweat out. But you've got 3 jumps. The pressure, the mentality, that kind of blew my head. Yeah, it blew my head. 100 meters, like that track. It's just that mentality. And I'm seeing all these young people, and straight away I said, yeah, majority of these are going to be successful in life. Forget the athletics. I can see them healthy looking bank managers, financial consultants, right up there, focus driven, purpose driven, know how to deliver under pressure, focus, because they've done it right here on the track.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Donna's got something to say about it, but exactly what I said is when you talk about how did you move from football, basketball into athletics or whatever. If you're doing a sport, most of those people that are good at one sport can transfer that to another sport. And the same with if somebody's involved in athletics, they can use those skills that they've gained, like you said, a mental preparation and all of that, into the real world out there. To be able to perform under pressure, to be able to take information, to be able to, work with a team. Like, for example, if they're working with a coach, you've got all of these skills that they are getting. And I think it's something that I'm hoping that the parents of today realize.
Yeah, man. 100%. You know what I mean?
Donald?
What are you saying, Donald?
Yeah, I think with regards to track and field, and it does apply to, I'm sure, all sports, but because track and field is innately an individual sport, yes, you have a team around you, but you're the one out there delivering on the day. I think what that does, it builds a unique type of character and strength, probably unlike what team sports do, where you are, as Joe said, somewhat dependent on your team players. And what I like about athletics, for me, it is the single-mindedness that you have to have on the day of performance. When all of the sort of training and preparation is being done, the question is, can you now call on those skills and those abilities at that time? And very often in life, people can't. Put sport aside. Very often when we acquire knowledge, people often say knowledge is power, but it's not. I don't know what they mean by that. And as Joe rightly said, you have a team around you. Your coach is giving you that knowledge. Your nutritionists are giving you that knowledge. Your physios are giving you that knowledge, what to stretch and what to do. All of that knowledge, you're gaining all of that knowledge, but you have to internalize and personalize that individually in order to then deliver. But this is where a lot of athletes and people in general make the mistake. They think that because they have the knowledge that they have the power, when in fact all they have is knowledge. Knowledge isn't power. It's the implementation of the knowledge that brings you power. And Joe is a classic example. When you see Joe run, he is, I'm not insulting him, he's always the shortest guy amongst the other athletes. Seriously, they're like two feet taller than him, but he always beats them. Whatever knowledge he has acquired, he can now implement that. What he could do is look to his left and look up to his right, and already he's negged himself out. I'm going to lose because I'm the shortest. But what he does, he takes the knowledge that he knows how to get over the hill, how to hurdle, how to stretch, how to prepare, how to get out the blocks, and he implements that. And I think that's one message. Another message that we need to get across to all people. It doesn't matter what you've learned in life. It doesn't matter what qualifications you have, what degrees, masters, PhDs. That's great. But unless you can actually implement it in your life, all it is just knowledge.
Wow. But also, knowledge is being able to take the right knowledge, because you can be overwhelmed with so much information. Being able to get rid of what works for you. As an individual person, it's an individual sport. Everybody's body is different. So you need to be able to take all of that information and say, pick the ones that works for you. And make that work for you.
Come on.
So again, you know, Donald is just talking about how you apply that knowledge. Yes, how you apply that. How do you apply the knowledge to suit you personally?
Cool. Yeah. No, that's absolutely powerful stuff, guys. And the joke is, guys, you may think, oh, I meant to listen to a podcast about, you know, athletics, and, you know, two guys above the age of 25 doing athletics still, you know, and but the powerful thing is there's a lot of life skills which we've ignored, and this is us empowering the parents of today and tomorrow. And we got again, guys, you know, we're not saying the elders were totally wrong. End of the day, as Donald says, like, you know, we only can do things based upon our knowledge and our skill sets. And the reality show is that the situation that they're coming from, you know, is like, you know, totally different. And but now it's like I said to my sons, back when I was 16, I wanted to do sports and leisure and rec. You know what I mean? Like, you know, BTEC. My dad goes, no, you're not doing no sports and leisure and rec. You're joking. You're going to be doing business and finance. So I was like, oh, goodness sake. So I did business and finance and ended up doing a degree. I moved away from that field because I got into my passion. But the joke is now, with my son now, he said, I see you with my dad, because everybody who kind of did that course, that was my complexion and darker. They end up being like managers of sports halls and stuff like that. So yeah, so I can understand where my dad's coming from. But what I said to my son, my younger son now, says, okay, right, you want to get into sports, so why don't you try and be Man City's head of sports therapy? Why don't you try and get into sports psychology? Why don't you be a doctor? You know, why are we always looking at the base jobs? Still do be active, and you can have jobs within athletics. And I think sometimes we look at sport and music as the person on the stage, not realizing there's a whole industry which makes the game, which makes the industry as well. So if you want to get into sports, you could start up your own brand, start up a organic drink which is good for athletes. You know, there's so much skills that we need to expand our mind when it comes to sport, entertainment as a community, and actually exploit it. You know, you go to West Indies, you go to Ghana, there's going to be plenty of healthy ways of eating, recipes and things that are good for us. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Let's put it out there. And I think that, you know, sports is a lot bigger than just Linford Christie growing up, you know what I mean? I suppose you guys might see him. Is he still hench or something like still got the muscles banging around the place, yeah? So, you know, you know, I remember watching, you know, Ed Mosey's 400 meters. These guys, I was like, yo, going around the bend and you see these free American, you know, you got Michael Johnson, his running style. You know, I don't know if you guys have actually tried it yourself, but I tried it and I'm thinking, yo, that hurts. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing I'll say is when you talk about sport, there's so much around sport that people can aim for. I think what they do, a lot of the youngsters now do, or a lot of people do, is they see the elite side of sport and the money side of sport, and they want to reach for it, rather than seeing sport as something that, you know, I want to do because of this. I want to do because I want to be healthy, because I want to enjoy it. You know, you know, it's becoming almost like a money.
Yeah, money
sort of orientated.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. There's so many other avenues within sport that we could aim for, but equally, we should also be looking at, if we're doing sport, are we doing it for the wrong reasons? Are we doing it just because I see other people making money and you know that, or are we doing it because firstly we enjoy it and secondly we want to be healthy? If those people are also in sport at the age that we are at, over 35s or 40s or whatever, they are the people that also do the volunteering. If we manage to keep those people in our sport, they will be the ones that will be doing the volunteering, because a lot of, especially athletics, it's all about volunteers. It's run by mainly volunteers because it's amateur. Majority of it is amateur.
Wow.
So, for example, people like Donald, myself, we are volunteers on top of being an athlete.
Wow. So
that we can help our sport move forward, so that we can help the next generation, so that we can give something back. Because I'm a qualified official. I'm also an athlete representative, UK athlete representative. I'm also a qualified coach, and Donald as well. Donald, this list is long.
I'll just touch on one, but thank you, Joe. Because I haven't competed in about 2 years, a good friend of ours, another Masters athlete, who's also spearheading, encouraging young people, Tamlin NJ Aforio side, we all call him TJ. He asked me in January if, because he knows I do public speaking, he said, would you be interested in commentating for one of his events at Lee Valley in London? And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So I did that in January, and I kid you not, I've been booked solid all year. I've done an event. England Athletics have now approached me, have started booking me for their indoor and outdoor season. And what's great about that, it's a great way, even though I'm not competing at the moment, it's a great way to give back, to commentate, because both Joe and I know what it's like as athletes and what athletes need in terms of commentating and spotting certain things. Like we know when the lactic acid kicks in, so we know when to get the crowd going and all of this information. But I didn't plan to be a commentator in sports. And all this year, like I said, I've been booked solid and been invited to this, that, and the other. It's gone crazy. So, and Joe made a very valid point in terms of the benefits outside of sports, and indeed giving back as well. And there is so much more to sport and athletics than just competing. And the point I like that Joe made was that so many athletes, unfortunately, I don't know what to say many, there are athletes who will only do it for the sport. And I've witnessed that where a certain athlete has said, well, if they can't get onto podium, they're jacking it in. Podium means if they don't get paid, basically.
Wow.
So you see where the real interest lies. And I think, like Joe and I, we grew up where I joke with our athletes. We live in an age now where the young ones these days, not all, but some of the young ones, they want everything to happen straight away. You give them an A to Z about to get to the club, like we had to. We had to read the A to Z and we could work it out. Now, it's like, unless it's not on the Google or something. Exactly.
Yeah.
And what I find interesting is, and again, go back to what Joe said earlier on, this is a great way to connect with people. And I've got to tell you this, where I saw a young lady, she was texting, literally on my phone. She was texting and it was going like this. texting and having this great conversation with the person right next to her on the couch. They were in the room, and they were having this, and I'm thinking, they're having a great, this skill of communication, it's dying to technology.
Yeah.
And like Joe said, because of in sport, it's a great way to connect and to develop your communicational skills. And as much as technology, as great as it is, and it is, we have to be careful that we don't allow it to become, it supersedes the basic skills of communication. And it's interesting because now that I'm commentating, I see the evidence of that. When I interview the likes of a Joe or a TJ, they come straight out with comments. Yes, this is that. And this is They're running out. When I interview the younger ones,
man,
they have the communication skills has been dumbed down. And so it's so important, and that's one of the areas that I'm working with the young ones to understand that it's not just about athletics. It's you are a brand, and you need to understand if you cannot be interviewed in front of me at these kind of meetings, when you make it to the nationals or the Europeans or the World or the Olympics, and you're interviewed,
you gotta be ready.
You need to be able to present and represent yourself well. And all of this, what Joe and I are providing for the young ones, helps them to grow and nurture in those directions.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, even for example, when I'm officiating, I make it a point of speaking to the youngsters that may not have done competition before, just to calm their nerves, just to give them the experience. You know, like I had a conversation with Donald last week about this, you know, that what he's doing in commentating is giving those youngsters an experience that when they get to the different stages, if they go on to become good athletes and they get to to those big arenas, they'll get used to commentators calling their name, commentators talking about them.
Yeah.
You know, they're not overwhelmed by it all. It becomes a norm to them.
No, 100%. No, 100%, man, 100%. But I want to close on a note, guys, where now I'm watching in, and you know, and I got guys in my head that are going, yo, they might be interested into this masters thing and get back into athletics, you know, and whatsoever. And I really appreciate the point that we're making, guys. We might have to, when it gets to athletics season, I know we can get these guys back in when it comes to what's going on. I'm sure these guys will tap us into the knowledge and say, oh yeah, by the way, that hamstring. Wait, we're gonna go, they can go through different injuries. But you know, it's funny because when you watch the elite level, it's like you got 3 months, you know what I mean, to get ready for these big events in athletics in August. Just 3 months, everybody. Where football, you get the whole season, and if it goes wrong, you're good. You know what I'm saying? You got time to come back round. Athletics, it's so critical, them few months, and you know, anything that goes wrong, it's crazy. But when it comes to anybody who's watching in and going, okay, right, how do I get back involved in terms of athletics? Oh, I'm out of shape. I can't get back into this, can I? You know what I'm saying? What ways, what routes back into athletics? You know, you know, Donald, we're up here. I live right next to virtual Alexander Stadium, so we got a brand new kitted out stadium. Yeah, you're about to tearing down and starting to get. Anyway, but you know, which is really, really, really cool. Hopefully, making Birmingham the centre of athletics. So you know, it's the centre. But how do I, if I'm 46, last time I ran was 10 years ago, you know what I mean? I still got it. I walk the dog. I'll keep going. What advice have you got to how to get into athletics?
Right. The first thing I say is that athletics is very inclusive. So,
okay,
you know, athletics in a way doesn't really discriminate. So if you're not fit, it's a slow process. So you need to take it stage by stage and step by step. So what you need to do, firstly, is maybe just start running yourself and then go to your local club and speak to them. They have different age groups. They also have different standards.
Okay. So it's not just going straight in with the big boys like you, going, yo, I'm gonna be Joe next
exactly.
week. I'm gonna race him next week.
There's no point trying to do that. You've got nothing to prove to anybody. It's to go to your local club, or even there's no reason why you can't start yourself and start, you know, start off as a walk-in, like Donald said before, and then maybe start jogging. And then if you're not confident yet, until you've done that, then when you get confident, you want to go and speak to your local athletics club. Sweet. And then after that, you can also research for if you're sort of like past 45 and 40 and you want to join a masters, there is a local masters athletics federation as well that you can research and speak to them. So for me, I would say the first point is to go to your local club and speak to them.
Yeah, man.
And then if you want to get involved in the masters athletics, then there's various masters clubs that you can join. And if you want to compete in the British Masters, there's also the Masters Athletics UK website that you can check. And of course, you know, if anybody wants to research me and wants any more information, come back to me or Donald. But Donald probably can add to what I've just said.
Yeah, I think that one of the key things is to remove any concept of fear. That is often the biggest hindrance. Oh, I'm 42, I'm 45, I'm 46, I'm past it. And I hear that a lot. And I think once we remove that element of negativity, it purifies, it clears the mind. And as Joe said, by all means, what I would say is try, if possible, try and identify fellow masters athletes of the same age range, because it can be very intimidating if you're in your 40s and you go to a club and you're put next into a group of 20-year-olds and they're leaving you, which invariably might well happen. And so if you can partner with someone within your age range, I'm blessed that the squad I have, they're all within sort of 5 years of my age range, and they're fantastic. And that's very encouraging. And so I would encourage those who are interested to certainly do the research and go online as well. Go online and go on YouTube and look at what other masters athletes are doing. And I pretty much guarantee you a lot of people will be very surprised that they're probably not as unfit as they think they are. Cool. And it's usually a mental thing. So yeah, go to a club, try and identify with other masters athletes. And as Joe said, try and communicate with people within that field, himself, myself, and get that kind of information. But don't be intimidated by younger athletes or your own age.
Yeah, you'll be surprised how good you are. And if you're not, it doesn't matter. It's all about getting involved and participating. You'll also be surprised how incredible things that our bodies can do at our age.
Yeah, man. Young lady came to me a few weeks ago, and she turns 35 next year, and she saw me training, and she said to me, a couple of years ago, she saw me training. She said, and I told her what I did as an athlete, and she said she'd like to get into it. And so I said, well, whenever you're free, come down to Lee Valley and I'll give you a coaching session. That was about 2 years ago. And she finally came down about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And she used to play, I think she still plays rugby actually. And so she knows what time she can do for the 60 meters. She reckons she can do about maybe 10 seconds, which to me is quite slow. But I said, are you sure? She says, yeah. She came down with a training session and she ran 9.6 and 9.3 and then 9.2. What that does, I said, that's your PB now, and I know you can beat that. So now she's already excited, even though it's not an official PB.
Yeah.
Going down to the track, just have a run out. The meters, for example, and if your PB is 15 seconds, that's your PB. And now you've got a starting point. Wow. And then bit by bit they can chip away. And that's where the excitement comes in. Because, I've got another PB, and I'm up a tenth of a second or 2/10. And then you can begin to see the enthusiasm building. So step by step in those different ways, it will help.
That's definitely fantastic. And guys, what I'm going to try and do is if you guys can hit me some links of masters, any ideas, and I'm going to put it into the description as well, so people can link into anything out there. But guys, absolutely fantastic. There's going to be more stuff I want to hit you guys up as we go. So I know you guys are the athletics experts, and I know I can come to you guys when it comes to health. And there's going to be discussions, hopefully in the future, in the summer, which we can have about men's health. You know what I'm saying? I think this is all part of men's health and challenging the state of our men's health. Joe, we went into detail about your journey when it came to cancer, and it's a massive, and you still life wasn't over. You know what I'm saying? But that mentality was given to you from this field. Let's be real. By keeping your mind sharp, you never waved the white flag. You that focal point got you over that massive mountain. And I think that more people hear these testimonies in these stories, these narratives, more inspires a generation to get out, because depression is hitting our men. We talk about men's health, mental health. Somebody said to me, they're sending these cute videos around talking about, men, we talk, need to talk. But I said to them, talk to who? You know what I'm saying? It's always saying to talk. Well, who are you talking to? You know what I mean? And that's the problem. Is like you said, the quality of people that we have around you, the concepts, you talk to the wrong person. They says, "Oh, come with me, let's go out, man. Forget this and let's just get it all down." And next day, it's who you talk to. And it's very easy to say just to talk as men, and the health issues.
But how do we turn that negative into positive? How do we turn, and I think that's where athletics. For me, I went into when I had my diagnosis with cancer, I went straight into what I know. Yeah. I used the athletics mindset. Okay, I've got an injury. How do I deal with that injury? And that set me off. So from that, I came back. I set myself small goals. small goals during that process.
Sweet.
And I came back even better than I was running before.
Crazy. And
I am now, I broke the world record within like 8 months, 9 months, I think 8-9 months of me having a cancer surgery. So it's how do you turn that negative into positive?
Yeah, 100%. 100%, and it's what I love about this, and this is what it comes out of it, and this is why these discussions, these conferences, you know, these communication skills we need to be having within our community, and leaving out this conversation is not going to be one-off, guys. You can go to YouTube, you can listen into this at any time. You want to send it to your friend, your cousin. There could be in Ghana, Jamaica, US. There could even be in Australia. We don't businessman, you know, help out the Australian team because you know they come in big cycles. You know what I mean? Still, you know, but listen, you know, guys, thank you for your time. Thank you for your knowledge. Sorry, Donald.
Okay, that I'm personally thrilled that Joe has overcome the situation he had with cancer. Mm-hmm. And the reason I'm so thrilled is because when I get my knees together and I'm going to take you on the 100 meters and kick you behind.
I have always said, Donald, let's go.
Absolutely. I live in hope. No respect to you, Joe. Seriously.
No.
Let's go. But for me, Donald has been one of my inspirations because I was, you know, when I came on the scene, you know, around the same time that he came on the scene, and then I saw him breaking the British record for the age groups above me, and so he set the standards for me to aim for.
Crazy.
So you know, we keep inspiring each other. So if he comes back, it's great because if he breaks the record for his age group, I'll be aiming to try and break it. So that gives me that extra motivation. Brilliant. So people like Donald and others are my inspiration.
Amen. And you know what? I must be a good inspiration, Roger. Yeah. He keeps breaking all the records. I'm serious. He's just mashing all the records up, man.
Hey, people, you guys are making me, my competitive spirit come in, man. I'm going to come in there and start take their records now. I'm going to start going, all right, guys, let me just stretch out this body here. Still, yeah. The middle is a baby body.
Hey, Roger, you don't know what your body's capable of.
For real. Like, even today, I'm coming back from an injury, and my trainer was like, you know, 1 kg, like, single leg presses. Because I don't really do gym stuff, you know, and my leg's injured. And I'm like going, in my head, I'm almost telling myself I can't do it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I'm going, hold on, this leg's meant to be weak. And I'm like going, hold on a second, if I actually tried to do this, what would I do? You know what I mean? So it's all these things pushing, like I said, it's mind over matter. You know, I'm getting into this mind going on and the importance of it, guys. You know, and I really thanks for that lesson today. You know, 100% from you guys. You're both inspirational to me, and you know, 100%. You know, man. I'm gonna send this over to all my ex and current sporting men. You know, I mean, to keep focused, keep moving forward. And guys, any things that happen on the GB side, and you want to report back in, you feel no way, message me and we set it up and we communicate. If you guys do, you know, there's could be some big events going on, you want to kind of put it out there, big athletic events coming into the summer next year, just shout and we'll get it, and we want to celebrate it and push out there because we want to get people involved in this. 100%, bro.
Thank you for having us on the show.
Thanks for having us, Roger.
Thank you, man.
Nice to meet you again. And take care.
Take care.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, man.
To you and all your listeners.
Yeah, man. Most definitely bless.
Thanks, Roger.
Blessings, man.
Cheers, Roger.
Bless,
bye.
Man. Bye.
See you later, Donald.
Take care, Joe.
Cheers.
Hey, this is your Bishop from Rock Solid. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much for clicking and subscribing and also sending these videos to other people as well. We are so hungry to get your support. So remember, check us out on our website, and also check us out on Insta and wherever you want to find us. On Spotify, you can play us all day as well. And just make sure that you are supporting this channel, that we are developing our agenda towards music of Black origin, and that is gospel music with a message. So please Please walk with us on this journey. Bye now.